welcome to Secrets of the Solents presents Discovery Sessions. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the common cuttlefish, Sepia officinalis. So this, guys, is the cuttlefish bone. Some of you may have found that on the beaches before. I know that dogs like it. Apparently cats like it too. Sometimes you'll see it for budgies and things like that. But this is what we call a cuttlefish bone. Now, it's not actually a bone. It's an internal shell because cuttlefish is actually a mollusk. The name cuttlefish is actually really deceptive. It is a mollusk. It's related to your garden snail. It's related to the common whelk, which I showed on an earlier episode. It's basically how the cuttlefish floats because it doesn't have a swim bladder like fish. Don't you steal that. It actually has got these, you can see here, lots of these ridges and lines in it. And actually, what it is it's made out of the same calcium carbonate, same substances like the common whelk shell and the limpet shell. But because it's structured differently, it's got air pockets. It's almost structured like columns. And if you move your finger across it, you can see, you can see some of it comes off. But if I press really hard, obviously the edge is cracked, but you can press really hard, it's quite dense. Now, a mollusk is defined by a shell and a mucous mantle, and the cuttlefish has this. The cuttlefish is actually a absolute master of disguise, but they have these really unique way of doing it. So they have three types of pigments, kind of a yellow-brown pigment, a red-brown pigment, and then a blue-black pigment. And just to kind of simplify things for you guys, they basically have these pigments which are surrounding rings of muscle called chromatophores, and depending on how the muscle's contracted or relaxed depends whether that pigment is displayed or not. They see in black and white, but they don't see in colour, but they can see different waves of light, which is pretty amazing considering their camouflage ability is just so profound. I mean, scientists are looking and studying it to kind of create invisible, cars, and I want to say invisible clothing, but clothing that makes you invisible, not like the Emperor's New Clothes. Cuttlefish actually has 3 hearts, because the blood is very different to our blood. Our blood has something called hemoglobin in it, and it's iron-based, whereas the cuttlefish are copper-based. Now, copper, if you've ever seen it rust outside, it rusts a lot slower than iron does, and that's because it doesn't oxygenate as quickly as iron does, and that's the problem with the cuttlefish is they're getting their oxygen from the sea. They're absorbing the oxygen from the water, but because copper doesn't fix well as iron does with oxygen, it means that they have 3 hearts, and they have a heart for each gill, which is on either side of their body, and then one to pump the blood around the rest of the body. Anyway, I could go on about the cuttlefish. There's so many other things. I might do a second session. I hope you guys have enjoyed the cats. They're having the time of their life at the moment. They're loving the sun. Hope you guys are safe and well, and tune in for tomorrow's session. Thanks.